The demand from the Council. In the vastness of space, the Galactic Council held power over many planets. They were a group of leaders from various alien races, each representing their own worlds. One day, they sent a message to Earth, a blue planet in the Milky Way galaxy. The message was clear. They demanded tribute from humanity. The news spread quickly across the globe. In the United Nations building in New York City, leaders from different countries gathered. They watched the message on a large screen, their faces filled with concern. The Council's representative, a tall being with green skin and bright eyes, spoke in a booming voice. "Earthlings," the alien said, "you are weak and insignificant. As a show of loyalty, you must provide us with tribute. In exchange, we will protect your planet from any threats. Failure to comply will result in severe consequences." As the message ended, a heavy silence fell over the room. Some leaders exchanged worried glances, while others were furious. "How dare they demand tribute from us?" shouted a general. "We are not their subjects." The Secretary General of the United Nations, a wise and calm woman, raised her hand to speak. "We must remain calm. We need to discuss how to respond to this demand. We cannot let fear dictate our actions." After much debate, the leaders agreed that they could not give in to the Council's demands. They knew that accepting tribute would be a sign of weakness. Instead, they decided to show strength by preparing a response. The Council believed humanity was weak, but the leaders knew they had to prove otherwise. A plan was formed to assemble a fleet of battleships. The engineers and scientists of Earth would work day and night to prepare for what could be the greatest challenge humanity had ever faced. They needed to demonstrate that humans were not to be underestimated. In the following days, the world buzzed with excitement and apprehension. News outlets reported on the Council's demands, and people discussed it in their homes and workplaces. Some were frightened, while others felt a surge of pride. Humanity was united in a way it had not been for years. The threat from the Galactic Council sparked a fire in the hearts of many. In a large military base, soldiers trained rigorously. The commander, a seasoned veteran named Colonel Martinez, led the drills. "We must be ready for anything," he told the troops. "The Council thinks they can bully us, but we will show them what humanity is made of." Meanwhile, scientists worked tirelessly in laboratories to enhance the battleship's capabilities. They focused on advanced weaponry and defense systems. One young engineer, Sarah, was particularly determined. She had spent her whole life dreaming of space travel and wanted to contribute to humanity's defense. "We will create technology that will surprise them," she declared to her colleagues. As the preparations continued, the leaders held another meeting. They had decided that Earth would send a fleet of battleships to confront the Council, but they needed a strong and brave captain to lead the mission. After much discussion, they chose Captain James O'Connor, a respected officer known for his bravery and strategic mind. When Captain O'Connor learned about his assignment, he felt a mix of excitement and responsibility. He understood the gravity of the situation and the importance of the mission. "I will do everything I can to protect our planet," he vowed to his team. "We cannot let the Galactic Council intimidate us." As the days turned into weeks, the fleet began to take shape. Ships were built, and the crew was selected. Each member of the crew knew they were part of something bigger than themselves. They were preparing to defend their home and their way of life. Finally, the day came for the fleet to launch. Thousands gathered at the spaceport to witness the historic event. Families waved goodbye to their loved ones, and many people held banners that read "Defend Earth." The atmosphere was charged with hope and determination. As the ships took off, Captain O'Connor looked out at the beautiful blue planet below. He felt a sense of pride swell in his chest. "We will show them that humanity is not to be underestimated," he thought. "We will fight for our future." The fleet ascended into the darkness of space, heading toward the location where the Galactic Council awaited their tribute. The crew members were filled with a mix of excitement and fear, but they all shared one common goal: to defend Earth against the Council's demands. The journey had begun, and humanity was ready to face the challenge ahead. Little did they know, the Galactic Council was waiting, confident that humanity would submit. But the humans were determined to show their strength and courage. The next chapter of their story was about to unfold, and it would change the course of history forever. The fleet sets sail. The massive fleet of battleships soared through the darkness of space, leaving Earth behind. Captain James O'Connor stood at the helm of the lead ship, the U.S. Valor, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and anxiety. The ship's crew bustled around him, preparing for what lay ahead. They were determined to show the Galactic Council that humanity was not to be underestimated. As the ships traveled, O'Connor gathered his crew for a briefing. They were a diverse group, each member bringing their unique skills and backgrounds. "Listen up, everyone," he said, his voice firm. "We are on a mission to confront the Galactic Council. They believe we are weak, but we will show them otherwise. Our goal is to defend Earth and ensure our freedom." The crew nodded, their faces set with determination. Among them was Sarah, the young engineer who had worked tirelessly on the ship's technology. She was excited to contribute her skills in the upcoming confrontation. "Captain," she spoke up, "we have some advanced weapon systems ready. If we need to engage in battle, we can give them a surprise they won't forget." O'Connor smiled at her enthusiasm. "Good work, Sarah. We'll need all the advantages we can get. Remember, though, our primary goal is to protect our home, not to start a war." As the fleet continued its journey, they communicated with Earth, providing updates on their progress. Back on the planet, people watched the fleet's journey on screens in homes, schools, and workplaces. The mission inspired a wave of patriotism, uniting humanity in a way that had not been seen in decades. The belief that they were not alone in the universe gave many hope, even in the face of uncertainty. Days turned into weeks as the fleet traveled deeper into space. The crew became accustomed to life aboard the ships, forming bonds that strengthened their resolve. They trained together, rehearsing different scenarios and strategies for the impending encounter with the Council. Each day brought new challenges, but they faced them as a team. Finally, the fleet approached the coordinates given by the Galactic Council. Captain O'Connor felt a mixture of anticipation and tension. "Prepare for arrival," he ordered. The crew moved swiftly, checking weapon systems and ensuring all equipment was ready. As they entered the designated area, the ships emerged from hyperspace, and a massive alien city came into view. It was a bustling metropolis filled with enormous structures that shimmered under the light of distant stars. The sight took O'Connor's breath away, but he quickly regained his focus. "Stay alert, everyone," he commanded. "We are in their territory now." Suddenly, a transmission crackled through the ship's communication system. It was the Galactic Council's representative. "Human fleet, you have arrived. You are expected to submit your tribute at once." O'Connor felt the weight of the moment. This was the culmination of their journey. "This is Captain James O'Connor of the U.S. Valor. We have not come to pay tribute, but to defend our planet. We will not bow to threats." A pause followed, and then the alien's voice returned, dripping with disdain. "You dare defy the Council. Your actions will have consequences. Prepare for your punishment." With those words, a fleet of Council warships appeared from the shadows, surrounding the human vessels. They were larger and more menacing than anything O'Connor had seen before. The alien ships glimmered with advanced technology, and their weapons were primed and ready. "Battle stations," O'Connor shouted, his heart racing. "Prepare for engagement." The crew sprang into action, adrenaline pumping through their veins as they took their positions. The U.S. Valor's sensors blared alarms, indicating that the alien ships were targeting them. "They're locking on," Sarah shouted from the engineering console. "We need to initiate evasive maneuvers now." "Hold steady," O'Connor commanded. "We can't show them any weakness. Prepare the weapon systems and be ready to fire on my command." As the enemy ships moved in, the crew could feel the tension in the air. O'Connor's mind raced with strategies and possibilities. They needed to show strength, but they also needed to survive. He knew that humanity's fate rested in their hands. The first shots fired from the Council's ships, bright beams of energy cutting through space. The crew of the U.S. Valor quickly maneuvered to dodge the incoming blasts, narrowly avoiding destruction. "Return fire," O'Connor ordered. The ship's weapons roared to life as they unleashed a barrage of energy blasts toward the enemy. The battle had begun. Despite being outnumbered, the human fleet fought valiantly. Their ships danced through the chaos of the fight, avoiding enemy fire while striking back with precision. Sarah's engineering skills proved invaluable as she guided the ship through the battle, keeping their systems online and operational. As the combat raged on, O'Connor realized that the Council had underestimated humanity's determination and resourcefulness. They fought not just for their lives, but for their home and their freedom. The crew's spirit shone brightly, fueling their fight against the oppressive forces of the Galactic Council. As the clash intensified, O'Connor knew that this was only the beginning. The outcome of the battle would determine the future of humanity. With unwavering courage, they continued to push forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The fight for Earth had only just begun, and they were determined to show the Galactic Council that they were far from weak. The battle commences. The energy beams lit up the dark expanse of space as the two fleets clashed. Captain James O'Connor stood firmly at the bridge of the U.S. Valor, his gaze fixed on the chaos unfolding before him. The sound of alarms and the hum of the ship's engines filled the air as crew members worked tirelessly to keep everything running smoothly. "Status report," O'Connor barked, his voice rising above the noise. "Shields holding at 80%. Sarah," the young engineer reported. "Weapons systems are operational. We're ready to engage." "Good. Prepare to fire on my command," O'Connor replied, his mind racing as he analyzed the battle situation. The Council's ships were larger and heavily armed, but the human fleet was agile and equipped with advanced technology of their own. The battleships moved with a surprising grace, dodging enemy fire as they retaliated with their own weapons. The Valor launched a volley of energy blasts toward an enemy cruiser, striking its shields with a resounding impact. The crew cheered as the alien ship faltered, but there was no time to celebrate. "Another wave coming in," Sarah shouted, her fingers flying over the controls. "They're coordinating an attack on our left flank." "Divert power to the shields," O'Connor commanded. "Evasive maneuvers, now." The U.S. Valor twisted and turned, narrowly avoiding a barrage of fire. The ship shook as an energy beam grazed its side, and O'Connor felt a surge of adrenaline. "Return fire," he ordered again, and the ship's cannons roared to life. The crew focused intently, their teamwork shining through as they worked in perfect sync. Despite the chaos, O'Connor could see the enemy fleet struggling to adapt to the humans' fighting style. They were used to facing weaker opponents who did not dare to challenge their authority. But humanity was different. They had come prepared to fight for their home. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Maria Sanchez, the ship's tactical officer, monitored the battlefield. "Captain, we're taking heavy fire on our right side," she warned. "We need to take out their lead ship to break their formation." "Target their flagship," O'Connor replied, his voice steady. "All ships, focus fire on the Council flagship." The crews sprang into action, and the Valor's weapons targeted the lead alien ship. The ship shimmered under the weight of incoming energy blasts. O'Connor could feel the tension in the air as they unleashed a powerful strike against the enemy. The flagship's shields flickered under the onslaught, and then, with a final explosion, it burst into a dazzling display of light. O'Connor felt a surge of hope. "We can win this," he shouted, rallying his crew. "Keep pushing forward." As the battle raged on, O'Connor and his crew began to see the tides shifting in their favor. The Council's fleet was starting to falter, their confidence shaken by humanity's fierce resistance. For the first time, O'Connor felt a glimmer of hope that they could truly turn the battle around. But just as victory seemed within reach, A new threat emerged. From the shadows of space, a colossal council warship, the Elysium, appeared. It dwarfed the other ships in the fleet, its imposing presence sending a wave of unease through the human ranks. "Captain, that ship is enormous," Sanchez exclaimed. "It's equipped with heavy artillery. We need to fall back." "No," O'Connor said, determination flooding his veins. "We can't let them intimidate us. We have to keep fighting." "Set course toward the Elysium." "Are you crazy?" Sanchez replied, her eyes wide. "That ship could obliterate us." "I know," O'Connor admitted, "but we have to make a stand. If we can disable their flagship, we can win this fight. Prepare the boarding teams." With the order given, the crew prepared for the next phase of the battle. O'Connor knew it was a risky move, but they had to act decisively to gain the upper hand. The fate of humanity rested on their shoulders, and they could not afford to retreat. The U.S. Valor charged toward the Elysium, weapons blazing. Energy beams shot through the void, striking the colossal warship with fierce determination. The crew worked tirelessly, coordinating their efforts to keep the momentum going. As they approached the Elysium, the Valor's boarding teams prepared to launch their assault. O'Connor could see the enemy scrambling to respond, but the human crew had the element of surprise on their side. "Prepare for boarding," O'Connor shouted. "All hands ready for hand-to-hand combat." The boarding pods were launched, hurtling toward the Elysium's hull. O'Connor led the charge, heart pounding with excitement. He and his crew breached the enemy ship, their determination unwavering as they fought against the Council's elite forces. As the battle continued aboard the Elysium, O'Connor felt a surge of pride. Humanity was not backing down. They were fighting with everything they had, proving their worth to the Galactic Council. Each crew member fought bravely, pushing through the enemy ranks as they fought for their home. The battle for Earth was no longer just about survival. It was a fight for humanity's honor, and they would not falter. Amidst the chaos, O'Connor glanced at Sarah, who was coordinating the ship's systems from the engineering bay. Her focus was unwavering as she ensured their weapons kept firing. "Keep it up, Sarah," he shouted, adrenaline surging through him. "We're making history today." As the human crew pressed on, they felt the energy of their shared purpose fueling their resolve. They were determined to show the Galactic Council that humanity was not to be underestimated. With every strike and every victory, they were proving that they were worthy adversaries, ready to defend their home at all costs. The turning tide. The Elysium's corridors echoed with the sounds of battle as Captain James O'Connor and his crew pressed forward, determined to take the fight to the heart of the enemy flagship. Each step brought them closer to their goal, but the path was fraught with danger. The Council's elite forces were well-trained and fiercely loyal, making the fight an uphill battle. "Stick together," O'Connor shouted, rallying his team as they moved through the dimly lit hallways. "We can't afford to lose anyone." Lieutenant Maria Sanchez led the charge, her weapon raised as she scanned the surroundings for any signs of the enemy. "We're approaching the command center," she reported, her voice steady. "Stay alert." The team pressed on, encountering pockets of Council soldiers. The battles that ensued were fierce and chaotic, each encounter a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. The humans fought with a ferocity that caught the Council off guard, and for every fallen comrade, their determination only grew stronger. As they neared the command center, O'Connor could feel the tension in the air. They were close, but they needed to act quickly before the Council realized the full extent of the human assault. "We're almost there," he urged his crew. "On my mark, we breached the door." Just then, the doors to the command center opened wide, and a group of Council soldiers stormed out. A firefight erupted, with blaster fire illuminating the hallway like strobe lights. O'Connor ducked behind a bulkhead, firing his weapon with precision. His crew followed suit, their training kicking in as they worked together seamlessly. "Cover me," O'Connor shouted as he dashed toward the command center door. "I'll set the explosives." Sanchez and the others provided cover fire, keeping the enemy at bay while O'Connor made his way to the control panel. He quickly programmed the explosives, feeling the weight of the moment settle on his shoulders. They had to disable the Elysium's command center to turn the tide of the battle. Explosives set. Everyone back. O'Connor called out, retreating to safety with the others. They took cover just as the explosives detonated, sending shockwaves through the ship. The command center was now a tangled mess of debris and smoke. As they entered the damaged command center, the atmosphere was thick with tension and chaos. The crew of the Elysium was disoriented, and O'Connor seized the opportunity. "Now is our chance. Push forward," he urged, leading his team into the fray. Inside, they encountered the Council's commanding officer, a towering alien with sleek metallic skin and piercing eyes. The alien glared at them, clearly enraged by the sudden human assault. "You dare invade my ship?" the commander roared, brandishing a weapon that crackled with energy. O'Connor felt a surge of defiance. "We're here to show you that humanity won't back down." He charged forward, weapon raised, and the ensuing battle was brutal. The clash of metal and the sound of energy blasts filled the room as they fought fiercely. O'Connor's crew fought valiantly, pushing through the chaos. They were determined to take down the Council commander and prove that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. The commander fought back with unmatched ferocity, but O'Connor's resolve remained unshaken. "Cover me. I'll flank him," O'Connor shouted to his team. He darted to the side, using the chaos to his advantage. As he approached the commander from behind, he took a deep breath, focusing all his energy into the moment. With a swift motion, he aimed and fired, hitting the commander squarely in the back. The alien staggered, momentarily stunned, giving O'Connor and his crew the opening they needed. They surged forward, overwhelming the commander in a flurry of blows until he finally fell. As the dust settled, O'Connor felt a rush of triumph. They had taken down one of the Council's most feared leaders, sending a message to the rest of the fleet. "We're not done yet," he called out to his crew. "We have to secure this ship." With their morale bolstered, the human crew pushed through the command center, regaining control of the Elysium. O'Connor felt a sense of pride swelling in his chest as he saw his crew working together, their unity shining through the chaos. Meanwhile, outside the flagship, the battle raged on. The other human ships had rallied, taking advantage of the chaos on the Elysium. The Council fleet was losing ground, their ships beginning to retreat as the tide of battle shifted. "Captain, we've taken control of the command center," Sanchez reported, her voice filled with excitement. "We can send commands to our fleet." "Good work," O'Connor replied, adrenaline coursing through his veins. "Let's send a message to our ships. We need to capitalize on this victory." As the crew began coordinating with the other human battleships, O'Connor took a moment to reflect on how far they had come. Humanity was showing the galaxy that they would not be bullied or pushed around. They were ready to stand their ground and fight for their place among the stars. "Let's turn this ship around and join the fight," O'Connor declared, determination shining in his eyes. They had come too far to turn back now. With their newfound strength, they would continue to push forward, proving to the Galactic Council that humanity was not to be underestimated. The battle for Earth was far from over, but O'Connor and his crew were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The counterattack. With control of the Elysium now firmly in human hands, Captain James O'Connor felt a surge of adrenaline wash over him. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious in the command center. However, the battle was far from over. The Council fleet continued to surround the human ships, and they needed a solid plan to secure their position and turn the tide of the war. "Lieutenant Sanchez, get me a status report on our fleet," O'Connor ordered as he moved to the central command console, determination in his voice. "We need to know where we stand." Sanchez quickly accessed the ship's systems, her fingers dancing over the controls. "The fleet is holding their ground, but they're taking heavy fire. If we don't reinforce them soon, we'll lose everything we've worked for. Get on the comms and inform the fleet that we're back in control. We need to coordinate a counterattack." O'Connor responded, glancing at the view screen that displayed the chaos of the battle outside. The vastness of space was filled with explosions and the glimmer of laser fire, a chaotic dance of destruction. Sanchez nodded, quickly relaying the message to the other human ships. The moment they received word that the Elysium was back in action, a wave of renewed energy surged through the human fleet. Ships began regrouping, preparing to launch a counteroffensive. "Captain, the Council is not backing down. They're repositioning their forces," reported Ensign Malik, his eyes glued to the display. "They seem to be trying to cut us off from each other." "Not on my watch," O'Connor said, his jaw set with determination. "We're going to push back and show them that humanity fights as one. We'll break their formation and give our ships a chance to regroup." "Ready the Elysium's weapons. Prepare for battle," Sanchez commanded, her voice steady. "We'll create a diversion to draw their fire." "On my mark, we charge," O'Connor shouted, rallying his crew. He felt the weight of leadership on his shoulders, but he knew they could do this together. As the crew executed their battle plan, the Elysium surged forward, weapons primed. O'Connor's heart raced as they barreled through the chaos, targeting the nearest Council ship. The crew fired in unison, a brilliant display of light and power as their shots struck true. The enemy ship rocked under the assault, and the crew cheered as it was engulfed in flames. "Push through. We need to break their lines," O'Connor yelled, his focus sharp. They were in the thick of the battle now, and he could see the determination on his crew's faces. They had transformed from defenders to aggressors, and it felt exhilarating. Sanchez watched the battle unfold from her station, her tactical mind racing. "If we can draw enough attention, our other ships can flank them from the rear," she proposed. "I can redirect some of our firepower to create more of a distraction." "Do it," O'Connor commanded. "We need to open a path for our ships." As the Elysium continued its relentless assault, it drew fire from several Council vessels. Their lasers flashed past, narrowly missing the ship as O'Connor maneuvered it deftly through the combat zone. "Captain, we have incoming from the left," cried out Malik, pointing at the warning lights on the console. "Evasive maneuvers. Keep firing," O'Connor shouted, gripping the controls. The ship swerved, narrowly dodging a volley of laser fire that could have ended the battle for them. The Elysium was a beacon of defiance amidst the chaos, and soon other human ships began to rally around them. One by one, they took advantage of the opening created by O'Connor and his crew, launching their own attacks against the distracted Council vessels. The tide was turning. The Council fleet, once confident and powerful, began to show signs of faltering under the relentless human counterattack. The Elysium and its allies struck with precision and coordination, targeting weak points and focusing their fire. "Captain, we've broken through," Sanchez exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. "Our fleet is regrouping, and they're launching their own offensive. Keep pushing. We can't let up now," O'Connor urged. "We have to capitalize on this momentum." The battlefield became a symphony of explosions and energy blasts as the human fleet, emboldened by their victories, surged forward. The Council ships, previously so assured of their dominance, found themselves on the defensive, scrambling to respond to the onslaught. "Look at them retreat," Malik shouted, disbelief in his voice. "They're actually retreating." O'Connor couldn't believe what he was seeing. The Council was pulling back, their once imposing fleet starting to crumble under the pressure of human resolve. It was a remarkable sight, and the realization filled him with pride. They had transformed from the underdogs into a formidable force, defying all expectations. "Keep the pressure on," O'Connor called, feeling a renewed sense of hope. "We can't let them regroup. This is our chance to show them that humanity won't be cowed." As the battle raged on, the humans pressed their advantage, relentlessly pursuing the retreating Council ships. O'Connor felt a sense of exhilaration wash over him. They were doing it. They were turning the tide of this war. Yet, amidst the chaos and celebration, a shadow loomed. O'Connor knew that this was just one battle in a much larger war. The Council would not give up easily, and their defeat today could lead to an even more fierce retaliation. But for now, they had won a significant victory. With the Council fleet on the run, the human forces felt invincible. As O'Connor glanced at his crew, he knew they had proven themselves to be more than just warriors. They were a force to be reckoned with, ready to stand strong against any challenge the galaxy threw their way. The fight for humanity's place among the stars was just beginning. A fragile peace. In the aftermath of the intense battle, the Elysium floated in the quiet of space, surrounded by the remnants of the once mighty Council fleet. The void was filled with debris, the remnants of what had been a fierce confrontation. Captain James O'Connor stood on the bridge, surveying the damage, both to their own ship and to the enemy's forces. "Damage report, Lieutenant Sanchez," O'Connor called, his voice steady despite the exhaustion weighing on him. Sanchez tapped on her console, her brow furrowed with concentration. "We've sustained some structural damage, mainly to the aft section, but nothing we can't manage. Weapon systems are functional, and we're still operational." "Good," O'Connor replied, relief flooding through him. "What about the rest of the fleet?" "We've received reports from most of the ships," Sanchez said, glancing at her screen. "Most of them are in good shape, but a few took heavier losses. We're working to coordinate repairs and assess our next steps. Keep me updated. We need to ensure we're ready for anything," O'Connor instructed, his mind racing with thoughts of the Council's potential retaliation. As the crew began to recover from the battle, O'Connor felt a sense of camaraderie and unity among them. They had faced a formidable enemy together and emerged victorious. But the victory felt bittersweet. They had lost ships and lives in the fight, and he could not shake the feeling that they were still in danger. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Council," Ensign Malik reported, his expression tense. "It's marked as urgent." O'Connor exchanged glances with Sanchez before nodding. "Put it through." The view screen flickered to life, revealing the stern-looking alien ambassador from the Galactic Council. The creature's features were sharp and angular, its skin a deep shade of blue that shimmered in the light of the bridge. "Captain O'Connor," the ambassador began, its voice smooth yet commanding. "The Galactic Council seeks to address the recent events and extend an offer of peace." O'Connor raised an eyebrow, skepticism creeping into his thoughts. "An offer of peace, after the battle we just fought?" "Yes," the ambassador replied, unfazed. "The Council recognizes that our conflict has escalated unnecessarily. We propose a ceasefire and negotiations to prevent further bloodshed." "Why should we trust you?" O'Connor countered, his instincts on high alert. "Your forces attacked us without provocation. How do we know this isn't a ploy to regroup and strike again?" The ambassador's expression remained calm. "We understand your skepticism, Captain. However, further conflict serves neither of our interests. Our resources are depleted, and the losses on both sides have been substantial. We propose to meet on neutral ground to discuss terms that benefit both humanity and the Council." O'Connor glanced at his crew, who were watching intently. He knew the decision would not be easy. A part of him wanted to reject the Council's offer to continue the fight and show them the full extent of humanity's strength. But another part recognized the importance of securing peace. "What's to stop us from being ambushed during these negotiations?" O'Connor asked, still wary. "The Council will ensure a secure meeting environment. Both parties will send representatives, and we will establish terms that guarantee safety for all involved," the ambassador explained. After a moment of silence, O'Connor took a deep breath, weighing his options. "If we proceed, we will only send our best negotiators, and we expect full transparency from your side. Any sign of treachery, and we will not hesitate to defend ourselves." "Understood," the ambassador replied, a glimmer of satisfaction in its eyes. "I will relay your terms to the Council. We will coordinate the details of the meeting." As the transmission ended, O'Connor turned to his crew. "What do you all think? Is this a chance worth taking?" "We have to consider it," Captain Sanchez said, her voice firm. "A ceasefire could give us time to regroup and strengthen our position. We can't keep fighting without a plan." "I agree," Malik added. "But we must remain vigilant. The Council has shown their willingness to attack. We can't let our guard down." After discussing their options, O'Connor made his decision. "We'll accept the Council's proposal for negotiations, but we'll prepare for every possibility. I want our best negotiators ready and defensive systems primed. We'll make it clear that humanity will not be an easy target." In the days that followed, the crew of the Elysium worked tirelessly to prepare for the impending negotiations. They reviewed strategies, analyzed the Council's tactics, and practiced responses for every possible scenario. O'Connor knew the stakes were high. Peace was fragile, and trust had to be earned. Finally, the day of the meeting arrived. The Elysium and a small contingent of human ships approached a neutral space station designated by the Council. As they neared the station, O'Connor felt a mix of apprehension and hope. Would this meeting bring about a new era of cooperation, or would it end in further conflict? As they docked, O'Connor looked out at the vastness of space, his heart pounding. The future of humanity could hang in the balance. He turned to his crew, each of them standing resolutely at their posts. "Stay sharp, everyone," O'Connor said, his voice steady. "No matter what happens in there, remember what we fought for. We are humanity, and we will not be intimidated." With that, O'Connor stepped onto the station, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The fragile peace hung in the air, and only time would tell if it would last. The negotiation. The atmosphere in the meeting room was tense as Captain James O'Connor and his team prepared to negotiate with the Galactic Council. The room was sleek and modern, with walls that shimmered like stars. A large table occupied the center, surrounded by representatives from both sides. O'Connor's team consisted of skilled diplomats, military strategists, and his trusted lieutenant, Maria Sanchez. As the council representatives entered, O'Connor studied their faces. Each alien was distinctly different, showcasing a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. At the forefront was the same blue-skinned ambassador who had contacted them before. It was a formidable presence, radiating authority. "Welcome, Captain O'Connor," the ambassador said, its voice smooth yet firm. "We appreciate your willingness to engage in this dialogue." "Thank you," O'Connor replied, keeping his tone professional. "We're here to ensure that both parties can come to a beneficial agreement without further conflict." The ambassador nodded and gestured to a holographic display hovering above the table. "As you know, our previous encounters have led to misunderstandings and unnecessary loss of life. We propose to establish a treaty that will ensure peace and cooperation between humanity and the Galactic Council." O'Connor exchanged glances with Sanchez, who nodded encouragingly. "I'm listening. What do you propose?" The ambassador straightened its posture. "First, we must address the immediate ceasefire and the withdrawal of military forces from the contested sectors. This action will demonstrate goodwill and a commitment to peace." "Agreed, but we need assurances," O'Connor replied. "What guarantees do we have that you will honor this ceasefire?" The ambassador raised a hand, signaling for silence. "To ensure mutual trust, we suggest a series of monitoring protocols. Independent observers will oversee the withdrawal of both our fleets. Furthermore, any hostile actions from either side will result in immediate consequences, which we will discuss further." O'Connor took a deep breath, considering the proposal. "That's a start. But what's in it for humanity? How will we benefit from this treaty?" "Excellent question," the ambassador replied, its tone shifting to one of negotiation. "In exchange for your cooperation, we will share advanced technology, trade agreements, and even access to interstellar resources that could significantly enhance humanity's capabilities." The prospect of advanced technology and resources made O'Connor's heart race. This could be an opportunity for humanity to leap forward in their technological prowess. but he knew he had to tread carefully. And what are the terms of these agreements? We cannot agree to something vague. Of course, the ambassador said, tapping a button on the table, and a new holographic display appeared, outlining the proposed terms. We offer the following: technology transfers in energy production, medical advancements, and sustainable resource management. In return, humanity will provide cultural exchange programs and diplomatic support within the Council. Sanchez leaned closer to O'Connor, whispering, "This is a significant offer, but we need to ensure that they cannot back out once we agree." O'Connor nodded, his mind racing. We need a timeline for these exchanges and penalties if either side fails to meet their obligations. The ambassador's expression remained calm, but O'Connor could sense a flicker of surprise at the human's assertiveness. We can include clauses regarding timelines and penalties in the treaty. This demonstrates mutual respect and accountability. Agreed, O'Connor said, feeling more confident. But I must stress that our military must remain an active force until we see the treaty in action. We cannot afford to let our guard down. The negotiations continued, with both sides exchanging ideas, concerns, and compromises. O'Connor felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders, aware that the fate of humanity rested in this room. As discussions progressed, the atmosphere shifted. The Council representatives began to express genuine interest in cooperation. O'Connor found himself engaging in discussions that felt less like a negotiation and more like a partnership. Hours passed, and the sun outside began to set, casting long shadows across the room. O'Connor and the ambassador shook hands, signaling that they had reached a tentative agreement. We will draft the treaty and arrange for the exchange of technology and resources, the ambassador said, its eyes gleaming with excitement. Together, we can build a stronger alliance. O'Connor smiled, feeling a sense of hope. Let's make sure this peace lasts. Humanity has faced many challenges, and we've come out stronger. Together, we can ensure a brighter future for both our peoples. As the meeting concluded, O'Connor and his team felt a sense of accomplishment. They had managed to turn a potential conflict into a new beginning. The Galactic Council was no longer just an enemy, but a partner in exploring the vast universe. Walking back to the Elysium, O'Connor felt lighter than he had in days. He knew that the path ahead would not be without challenges, but they had taken the first steps toward a fragile peace, one built on trust and cooperation. As the crew celebrated the successful negotiations, O'Connor looked out at the stars, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. The future was uncertain, but humanity was ready to face it head-on, united and strong. Together, they would navigate the uncharted territories of the galaxy, forging alliances and exploring the wonders that lay ahead. The adventures of humanity had only just begun.